Hello, good evening, beautiful ladies. Good evening, everyone who's watching. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Vivian Ottabor, and I am the founder of Resilient Immigrants. And we're here again for another insightful, impactful Knowledge is Power session. Today's topic is titled Navigating Career Barriers, um, career progressions that for women to navigate challenges that they face. And we all know that this month is Women's History Month. So, what better
Yeah.
time to have this? And of course, again, it's the end of the month. So, we're ending out March, Women's History Month, with this very necessary conversation because we know the challenges and all the hurdles, loopholes that women face, right? But enough of that. If you're out there, you're wondering what Resilient Immigrant does, we help immigrants thrive by providing information, workshops, inspiring stories, all sorts of things to help immigrants thrive, while also being very inclusive as well. So we also help first gen as well as professionals, entrepreneurs. Again, we're trying to be inclusive, but the target audience are definitely immigrants. All right, so enough of that. I want to turn you over to these amazing ladies who we have here today. We have Dr. Florence and we have Jasmine. So, Jasmine, I'll start off with you. Introduce yourself, and then we'll pass it over to Dr. Florence.
Hello, everyone out there. My name is Jasmine Lewis. I am the CEO and founder of Jazz Resolutions LLC. What we do, we focus on providing equitable social impact consulting for youth development organizations and BIPOC startup nonprofit leaders. The purpose for that is I have worked over 17 years in the nonprofit field working with youth development organizations. And I'm a Black woman that has probably worked about every role you can think of in a nonprofit. And we'll probably talk more about that later. But that's what we do at Jazz Resolutions.
All right, awesome. Dr. Florence.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Florence Fasten. For this particular segment, I would define myself in the women in IT space because I am also a woman in IT. But my background is in accounting, so I've done a lot of IT. But one of my purpose-driven goals is to inspire and empower young girls. So I own the Miss Elegance Georgia pageant, the Intentional Woman Awards, that awards women who are intentional about making a difference. And I'm a serial entrepreneur, so I own my classic cocktails, Mode shoes, Grace Light Publisher. So according to Vivian, I wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
But for this particular segment, I'm going to focus on my role as a woman in technology because I work with what they call SAP, Systems, Applications, and Products. I don't know if Vivian knows I do that, but
Of course.
just so that I can strategize myself to, help with this discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. So, again, for you guys, I'm just going to be very plain and simple, right? Jasmine is into nonprofit work, and
Yeah.
Dr. Florence is into both entrepreneurship and 9 to 5, right? So
Right. Yes.
she's doing both. And even and I think almost nonprofit as well, a little bit, because even
Yes. The
the
Miss Elegance.
pageants,
Yes.
yeah, that's
It's a
non-profit. So
non-profit.
yeah,
So
you're wearing all the hats, right? And
yeah.
and of course, I can also chime in. I mean, I'm the host. I'm asking the questions, but I also have the experience and the knowledge of working with little girls, and also I have experienced firsthand the challenges women face as someone who is also in a male-dominated industry, right?
Absolutely.
And I feel like as women, we go through a lot, as Black women especially, we go through a lot. There's so many um, things, even from our tone, the way we respond. There's just so much negativity and stereotypes attached to us. And that's what we're here to discuss
Absolutely. Hmm.
today. So, again, I just want to, throw it out to you guys. Are there any specific barriers that you want to point out that you have experienced firsthand?
You know,
Hey,
that's a
one of
loaded
you can go
question.
first. It sure is. Absolutely.
Jasmine, are you going first?
I'll let you go first this time since I went first last time.
Okay, barriers. Absolutely, because as a woman, especially a woman in the technology field, there are a lot of men, and it's been like that for ages. But I think we're gradually breaking the barriers. Um, One of the biggest challenge is owning that space because IT is definitely targeted towards male. I don't know why, but when we look at the background of especially 9 to 5, it's been targeted towards men. Why women are meant to be like the homemakers, take care of the babies, because you even have cases where you want to even take time off to spend with your family, and that would be an issue. So it's like by design. So the barriers that I have faced personally have been one of jobs that can be for a woman, but they would prefer it to be for a man. So, like, I've worked in an organization where I was up for a promotion, but they ended up giving it to a man. And I feel that was because he was male than because he knew what he was, actually doing. And so, I mean, that barrier is there. One of the themes for the 2025 International Women's Day is accelerate action. So what they are trying to encourage is that let's empower ourselves as women so that we can actually get into those positions. So be it by educating yourself more, being more up to date with technology or whatever it is, do that. So yeah, so the barrier is there, no deny.
Okay.
Jasmine.
Yeah, I said it's a loaded question. I think that when it comes to Black women, there's so many levels of intersectionality
Yeah.
when it comes to barriers. But although I am an entrepreneur now and I own my own business, it wasn't always so. So especially when I was in the nonprofit realm, and I shared this with you previously, Vivian, I was fortunate enough to be able to have C-suite level positions at a very young age. And what even though that's great and we all want to get there, and that's Danny, the things that come with it, especially in the nonprofit realm,
Mm.
as a millennial at 30, 31 years old, working in areas that are underinvested, it was really important to me to be able to be a light post, a beacon for my team, the people that were around me, the youth that I worked with and worked for and represented in that community. But I also had to be a beacon for other people that wanted to get to where I was at. And so oftentimes, I was a 30, 31-year old in a C suite position going to board meetings with folks that were two generations above me.
Mm.
And I had locks and I had tattoos and I have piercings, so already going in there knowing that um, folks had that mentality of like a two strike against her until I open my mouth and they understand who I am. But there, a lot of baggage comes with that, right? It's great to be able to be that beacon, but also feeling like you're pulling everyone with you while you're also pulling yourself up. Um, and representing for a lot of people. And I think that not I think I know that especially as Black women of color, but Black women specifically, we walk through the door feeling like, okay, what am I going to clean up today? Who am I pulling up with me? Just knowing that every day when you walk through the door, you have this proverbial weight on your shoulder. So that was it was something that I was happy to be able to be in that position, but it was also, I wouldn't say it was a barrier, but it was a challenge for success because
Okay.
my other peers, right, that are not people of color, they don't necessarily walk into roles or into positions like that. with that weight and that expectation on their back. And if you don't know how to um, handle that, if you don't know how to check yourself, it can bring you down and take you into a mental spiral, a health spiral, all of that that you might not be ready for. And oftentimes you're not, and you don't realize it until you're in the hospital, until you lost a lot of weight, or you gained a lot of weight, or you become a version of yourself that you do not recognize. And been there, done that several times, and we'll probably get to that in the rest of this conversation. But I would say off the bat, that is definitely a challenge that I've experienced several times over. Um, but I've gotten to a place where I can get to where I need to be.
Yeah, so I kind of like where the conversation is going because just naturally we're now talking 9 to 5, like paid employment, right? No jazz, you're definitely doing your own thing right now. So I think we'll talk about, so we've mentioned barriers that people who are in paid employment face as women, right? So I want us to talk about some strategies that um, they can, you know, use to navigate those challenging situations. Because the truth is, not everyone has the luxury of just getting up and quitting, right? Even though their mental health is at stake, they're losing weight. They know for a fact that um, I don't want to be here. But again, the bills have to get paid, right? Some women are single moms, they don't have partners who are supporting them, they have children who, their fees have to be paid. So you don't have that luxury of just working away from that 9 to 5, right? So in situations like that where there are multiple barriers, multiple challenges that are holding women back from progressing, they're being skipped over for promotions in meetings, they're not able to use their voice even though they're intelligent, they're not able to speak up because there's that fear of being shut down or someone seeing them as a threat and actually targeting them. So there's a target on their back because of their intelligence, right? I mean, we can go on and on about all of those challenges that women in paid employment face. But
Absolutely.
what are some of those strategies that can actually help people who have to be in that situation?
Yeah, for sure. Um,
Jasmine, you want to go?
yeah, I'll go first this time, since you went first last time. So a couple of things. I would say if you're in a situation that you described, I have someone that I consider a mentor that I follow, and she gives great advice. There's a couple of things that I would say. First, make an exit plan. Um, Building your own exit plan is a powerful thing, right? Especially if you are specific about that exit plan. Like in 90 days, I am out here, and get you a calendar so you can be able to see those 90 days. Put your circle around it, heart stickers, whatever it is that you want to put on there. But to be able to physically see something, it makes it real, right? Instead of just saying it, and then write down like each month, this is what I'm going to be able to do for my exit plan to get up out of here. That's the first thing. The second thing I would say is anything that's happening to you, remember HR is not your friend. HR is there to protect the company, right? You need to protect yourself. So making sure that you take notes of things. Um, Please don't be like our current administration and put it on a computer or something that is not protected. Do it on your own computer at home. Put it on your own USB, things like that. Make sure you have dates, times, all of that, especially if it's a very crucial situation and you need to make an EEOC complaint. You have all of that right there. The third thing I would say is make sure you get some people in your corner. I think a lot of times we feel like we have to do these things on our own. Um, and you don't. There's people out there that want to be able to help you. There's people out there that have been through the same thing. And they're just waiting to pour into somebody else. And so I didn't learn this lesson till much later, till after I exited the nonprofit realm. But you want to get 3 people in your life. So these are the 3 people. You want to make sure that you have a career coach, You want to make sure that you have a mentor, and you want to make sure that you have a sponsor. So the difference between those three is that sponsor is going to be the person that is going to say your name in the rooms that you are not
Absolutely.
in,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's super important. And you want to make sure that person should be a level above you, or several levels above you. The next thing, when it comes to a mentor, it needs to be someone that has experienced life, and they've gotten to a point where you want to get to. Somebody that has an eclectic amount of experience, right? So they're able to give you a worldview that you haven't had yet. And then a career coach, you want somebody that's that 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a type A person that you're going to want to have, that's going to like look and tell you how it is. Like, you need to do X, Y, and Z based upon, whatever it is that you're telling your career coach. But if you are a type of person and you're neurodivergent like myself, and you have some letters behind your name, find somebody that's a neurodivergent coach and they think the way that you think, to help you, solve your own unique equation to
Mm-hmm.
get out of that situation.
Okay, awesome. So
Great.
I put a few things, in the chat, just noting down some strategies that we've covered, right? So again, I know not everyone would um, have the luxury, the liberty to even think about
Living.
that. Yes, that exit plan. But the people who can, that's absolutely fine because they're able to um, take control over
Mm-hmm.
the situation and start looking for their next paid employment, right? So
Yeah.
creating the exit plan, that's one. And then you said have allies in your corner, so mentor, a career coach, and I think you said an advocate,
A,
right?
a sponsor.
A sponsor, okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'll pass it back to Dr. Florence.
Okay, so Jasmine said at least a good bit of, gave a good bit of information that, in fact, I'm just going to just kind of either, just expand on it or, just add to it. So for one, like when she said create an exit plan, so typically what I would do first is to either upscale while I'm still there. Try to start seeing what else I can do. A lot of times we're so dependent on this one income, and the panic even self is enough to drive you mad, knowing that you're about to lose that job. So first of all, before you even get to this stage, always have multiple sources of income. I don't even know how to explain that. That's I hope you already do, but if you don't, I mean, this is an opportunity for you to start looking, to quickly see what else can you do, because to a point, by the time you even create an exit plan, what if within that 90 days nothing happens? You know what I mean? So but to your point, do create an exit plan, because for example, if it's a toxic work environment, you won't even survive. It's going to kill you eventually. So do have your exit plan, but just always try to side by side look at other things you can do to add to that, to what you're currently doing. Then, kind of find out you can transition to another job or something. Then she said, have allies in your corner. Absolutely. Definitely find support. Make sure you have your team together that can help you in this process. I remember when I had this challenging job, just talking to somebody that can either relate with you on what you're talking about, because sometimes some people be like, no, there's no job out there, don't do, you need somebody that really understands that this journey is hard, and can actually either help you, calm your nerves, or encourage you to do, not somebody that's trying to tell you that no, there are no jobs out there, this one, which is the truth, but you might not be able to process that type of negativity. So you need to leave. So you need somebody that kind of can help you through the process. And then she said upskill. So again, to my point, make sure that you are, was that my point or as? But make sure you are, definitely not waiting around for, if there's new technology, update and upgrade yourself. Make sure you are marketable and get your resume always ready. I say it anytime, always ready, because things change can change at any time. So again, great points, Jasmine. I just kind of expanded on them.
Okay. All right. So I want to play devil's advocate a little, right? Because I'm going to take the viewpoint of someone who, all of these things are great, right? All of the points and strategies you guys mentioned are fantastic. Now, let's assume it's actually a fantastic organization. So it's not a toxic workplace. Like
Mm,
this person actually loves this place, but maybe it's their boss, or maybe it's a colleague who is the person making the environment hostile. We have those situations where we're constantly praying, God, let this person get sacked, let them lose their job so I can,
promote them. I pray for promotion. I'm like, promote them.
or
to
promote them, but just take them away from this my team.
this
Don't,
Right,
space.
I
right.
don't want them here because this person is the person who's giving me sleepless nights and making life in this workplace miserable. This is legit. I'm telling you because I've actually experienced a situation like that where it
Mm,
literally bended knees. My entire family was calling this person's name, this
in
man's name
prayer.
in prayers, right? you know so like how do you handle, like, what are some suggestions? I know how I was able, besides the prayers, right? I know some of the things that I had to do to really own my own and like take ownership of my place in the work because I got the job. I wasn't handed the job, right? So I had the skills, I had the qualifications, I had the expertise. I was there for a reason, right? So just because you're uncomfortable or you feel that I shouldn't be here because I don't look like you, that's your problem. That's not my problem, right? But at the same time, I still have to deal with you. You're type A, you're vocal. I'm not that type of a person. So, what are some things that individuals in this situation can do to just navigate the situation?
You want me to go ahead?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so toxic is toxic. I don't even know how to explain it. Now, since you say you were playing devil's advocate, and I'm assuming you're saying, and the person wants to stay because
Yeah.
that's if not is you are leaving. So if you have to stay in, especially to your point, your 90 days come, you still haven't found something, or you even love the place and you really want to stay there. I mean, toxic is toxic, my dear. But there are things you can do. For example, like I've had to your point, I've had managers or bosses who just are dimming your shine. I mean, they are condescending. They just don't allow you, just shine. So in that case, what I've done in the past is make sure I document everything I do, specifically by email. So I'm working on this. I'm writing it out. I'm sending it as an email to highlight what I've done in those kind of things. Because sometimes a lot for the most part the person challenging you wants you to defeat you, right? But when they see that there's this confidence in your work or in what you're doing, it kind of I've seen positions where the person kind of backs out because it's like, okay, this girl is documenting what she's doing, she's not even responding to me back in a hostile manner. So it's a lot of patience that at the end of the day, if you are willing to, pursue that patience, you might be able to stay there, and hopefully maybe they change, they promote. I usually pray for promotion. They promote that boss and give you something else. But yeah, patience, reporting what you, as in kind of documenting what you do, and then don't let them defeat you, because it's very very possible that you now start doubting yourself, like, oh, maybe I'm not even good enough as well. So don't allow that. I used to wake up literally and say to the mirror, like, I'm a confident woman, then start my day. You imagine. But it worked because it's I just empowered myself facing that day, and I was there for 3 years, although I still left.
Okay. All right. So I summarize those as be excellent at your job because once you're excellent, no one can challenge you because there's the trails of just being excellent, right? You're not mediocre at your job. And then the last one you mentioned was just self affirmation, so affirming yourself, saying positive words.
Exactly. And then patience.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. I added it in there right now. Okay. Jazz, did you have anything to add to this?
Yeah, I think all those things are excellent. I would say the only two things that I would add is if it's somewhere that you're at and you want to stay there. I had to learn this lesson too the hard way. Don't let nobody punk you out of what's meant for you. Um, Find your allies at your job, especially if it's somebody on the same level as that individual or higher,
Mm,
so that they can be able to see what you are capable of and they can see
exactly.
you shine. And also, I feel like we do this as when not I feel I know that we do this as women a lot. Our language, change your language and the way that you speak about yourself and the way
Mm,
that you speak out, whether that is through email or speaking out loud. So perfect example is, a lot of times in emails, women won't just say the thing. We'll say, "Hey, I just wanted to check in." No, it's "Good morning, team. This is what we need to accomplish today." That sounds more confident than, "Hey, I just want to check in. I know everybody's busy, but I just wanted to." You got to be confident in your language, and that exudes through emails and as well as in person.
mm,
And even if that means, practicing in the mirror, or like you say, you can start with the daily affirmations and making sure that you say it boldly in the mirror and not just saying it. And always have you a good playlist so you can put your earbuds in and just like that gives you confidence of whatever that playlist is that you rock out to or you get pumped up for. Music is powerful.
Yeah,
yeah.
no, so these are great. So very recently on LinkedIn, there was a post that I saw where this lady talked about don't let people talk over you. And I don't know if you guys saw it, it was viral post. And she
Mm.
said, if you're speaking and someone begins talking over you, don't stop talking. Keep talking. Right?
Yeah.
said, he said, keep talking because you started talking first. So don't give in, right? And if you see that they are also talking, take your time, be slower with what you're saying, and say, I know that, this person, let's just say John, has something to say. However, I'm going to finish my train of thoughts and the points that I'm trying to make. And then when I'm done, I would pass it over to John. But make sure you keep talking. And usually it's awkward, right?
Mm.
But let them be the awkward one to keep quiet because they started talking over you. Right.
Mhm.
So I think that
You
that's
have to be strong, though. You have to. You have. I mean, I don't even know how to do. I don't know. I don't know how to do all that. So yes, that's a good advice, especially if you can. Like. So I'm just saying. For me,
mm-hmm.
that would just. So, in my own case, I probably would just let that person say what they want to say, and still make my point, because what I don't like to do is to to be hostile like them. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't just know how to do that, but that's my personal um, way of handling it. That will work too, especially if you can, if you are that
Mm-hmm.
person that can stand and make your voice known firm. But sometimes some personalities can stand it. So
Yeah, but you
I
see, the
don't know.
thing is, what you condone is what would continue.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
someone, when you're speaking and someone butting in and talking over you, that's a clear sign of disrespect. That
Mm.
what you're saying is irrelevant. What you're saying has no sense. So please be quiet. You know, yeah, that's
Yes, I see
exactly
where
what
you're
that's
coming from.
saying,
And
right?
Yeah.
I agree. I think that a lot of times too, not I think, I know a lot of times, and if you hear me, I like to correct myself in real time when I start
Mhm.
doing it myself. I know that women were afraid to come off as aggressive or bossy, whereas those same words, if a man was doing it, it's assertive. You're commanding the room. And so we have to we have to think the same way. Be assertive, command the room. You can do it in, and some people, you're right, they're not loud, but figure out what your quiet power is,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm.
Everybody has different frames of power. So if your power isn't loud, soft power can be just as
That's
powerful
powerful.
as
Yeah.
Exactly.
loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot to add, this lady also mentioned, she said, you don't have to shout, just keep talking. Maintain
Got you.
your same
Just be.
tone. Just keep talking. Don't shout.
Yeah.
But as long as two people are talking at the same time, even if no one is shouting, no one can be heard, right? So
Right.
one person has to give in and stop. And that person should not be you. Yeah, so she mentioned, she said, don't raise your voice, maintain
Just
same
maintain.
tone, but just keep talking. And
Yep.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
definitely going to try it. I'm definitely going to try it out for sure.
No, but
But
the good thing too about I mean, I definitely know that will work. Let me know. But the good thing too, when you don't talk, then they kind of look like the aggressor, because okay, what point are you trying to talk over somebody when the person was already talking? Do you know what I mean? Like, it just really does even shows that person's personality right there. And a lot of people that are like that, it people know them. They're like, oh, she you get what I mean. So when you have that moment and you have to talk to, I'm sure people will respect it, that okay, this woman or this guy has been doing too much, you know. So I'm just saying, yeah, it's justifiable at that point.
yeah. Okay, all right. So we definitely have some good points from
Mm.
what you guys mentioned. I put there, change your language, be direct, be straightforward, be confident, and be assertive, right? And of course, I didn't type out the continue talking because from an etiquette perspective, that's not etiquette. So I'm not going to type that in, but I mean, you got to do what you got to
You
do, right?
gotta do sometimes, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So we've talked a little bit about people in paid employment now. I want us to talk about the challenges and the barriers that people in um, businesses, entrepreneurs face that hinders their progress, right? And both of you are in business. You guys are entrepreneurs. What are some of those struggles that you're seeing as women in business?
Oh wow. Whew. Okay.
Think-
I'll go. One of the first things is when it comes to women in business, especially women of color, depending on what kind of business you're going into, or you're going into a VC back, which is venture capitalist, or something that needs like a certain amount of money to push out. We get funded the least, but we're the highest number of entrepreneurs, right? So how to make that make sense? How does that work? So being able to once again uh, make sure that you have a mentor in your corner, somebody that's been through this space before. I can say for myself, the way that I started, it was just, hey, what did somebody came up to me or send me a message like, hey, what are you doing right now? I saw that you're not here. Can you do this project? And then there was another project. And then there was another project. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm starting. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. And I went into it with rose colored glasses, right? Uh, and I made a lot of mistakes along the way. Wasn't thinking about, and the funny thing about it is did all these things on the nonprofit side of admin, and making sure I had a strategic plan and making sure that I understood the finances and make a budget and all of these things. But for some reason, it was not like it wasn't connecting in my brain on the entrepreneurship side. And I learned very quickly, very hard and very fast that I cannot do this on my own. I needed to build a village, build a community. I quickly have found several different hubs of consultants that we have our little networking groups, folks that have been doing this for a while that I can get advice from, everything from what kind of insurance I should have to making sure I have things trademarked, um, finding out or understand like I need a lawyer, I need an accountant, I need right. But making sure that you go into this um to do your research, Really figure out what it is that you want to do, what problem it's solving, and how you can best position yourself to be the solution for said problem. And making sure you have a plan when you go out into the world, so that way you can, you know, be the best for your future clients and your future investors, if that's the route of your business.
Yeah, so I think that's really powerful because women naturally tend to want to do everything themselves. They want to wear, they want to do, they want to be the content creator, they want to be the graphic
Yep.
designer, they want to be the secretary, the finance team, the legal. They want to do everything, right?
Mm.
Because just women, I mean, that's how God created us, right? To nurture, to protect,
Multitask.
yeah, right.
Hmm.
So I definitely see how that's a challenge, right? Being able to understand, no, this is a business. I cannot do everything by myself. I have to delegate. So I think that's fantastic. Dr. Flo, do you have any
No,
strategy?
no, no. I feel she covered that, a whole lot.
Oh, you
So,
know what? The other thing that I didn't mention was making sure that you are intentional about your time.
Mm,
Um, I
intention.
think that a lot of times, nope, I know a lot of times entrepreneurs, you go head first into this thing, and it, a lot of your time gets eaten up, and you forget how to balance time, because now, before, it's like, oh, when you're in your 9 to 5, you're like, work life balance, I need a work life balance. You're saying that to your boss, and you're the boss, right? So you have to create the work life balance, or the life work balance, or whichever way you see that balance being. And I can definitely say, in this room, in this office, there have definitely been times where I have cried. I have been happy. I've been sad. I've been angry. I've been mad. I've not had enough time. I've wasted time.
Mm,
So figuring out what works best for you, what works best for your family, especially as moms, being entrepreneur, because being a mom is a job by itself. And then if you're a wife, have a significant other, whatever that is a job. And then like if you're an entrepreneur, that is a job. So it's like you already have three jobs, like off
not
the
you.
bat.
Absolutely.
With that. And then if you have other things on the side, which most entrepreneurs do, right? Because we're always looking at various streams of money. That's another job. So being intentional about how you spend your time, what you consume, what you read,
mhm.
um,
Yes.
what you view, and making sure you have time for yourself in the morning, whether that's working out, a quiet space, if you need loud music, whatever it is,
Mm-mm.
figuring out what that is to get you to zone in, and then making sure you figure out what that is to get you to zone out, because zoning out is just as important as zoning in.
Yeah, I absolutely agree 100%.
Absolutely.
So as you're talking, right, another challenge that I know that women in particular face is competing.
Mm.
There's, I don't know, but I see that men have more of a collaborative spirit with their fellow men than women. You see a woman who's in the same business as you, and the first thing that comes to your mind is, oh, um, I don't want her to be around me so she doesn't see my ideas, or
Mm.
like the universe is large enough, there's space for everybody to succeed. Like, why is
That's
that the
it.
first thing coming to our mind, right?
Yep.
But men, they're like, oh, how can we work together? How can we, partner? It's very easy for them, right? So this is something that is hindering, it's a huge barrier that
It
women face,
is. Mhm.
right? So, um, and Dr. Flo, this question is actually for you because I know that you have multiple businesses as an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
And the businesses you have, they're businesses that other people potentially are
Dudes
doing,
as well.
right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Yes. So, And I don't see you as someone who is competing. I see you as someone who you're willing to help other people. If someone
Absolutely.
says they want to start that business, you're willing to give them advice. How did you get to that point, right? Because some people, it's not, they don't necessarily have any evil intent.
Mm-mm.
I think it's just like the first um, thing they think about. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
So yeah, please tell us.
Okay, so you hit the nail on the head when you said there's enough for all of us. Like that's my call, and I feel that if everybody thinks like that as well, it will make the world a better place. People just constantly think like because I've done this, then it should be unique. It's only me. I'm the then how do we feed the world? Like, do you get me? Just even in Gwinnett County where I live, there is it hundred thousands of people. Like, so why will I just think that that new business added to it or somebody doing similar is going to stop me, from growing? So it's a mindset change first. First, change your mindset, and then and women are doing better. So because to your point, a lot of women can't even just support one another or just even be in the same space. But I'm proud to see that a lot of women are understanding collaboration is the new currency. They're making efforts to unite. So yeah, change your mindset. There's enough because there's enough for all of us. Understand that collaboration is key. Even if somebody is already doing something and you want to do it as well, you can actually join that person to do it. Or on your own, it's okay. There's no need for competition. To your point, Vivian, I've had people call me, oh, how do you do this? And I freely give that information because I mean, there's enough for all of us. I mean, that's just the key, Vivian. I don't even know what to add to that line.
Okay, all right. So I summarize it as
Mm,
collaboration is the new currency.
yeah.
Collaboration over competition.
Vision,
Change your
yes. Change your
mind.
mindset.
Okay,
Perfect.
that's very beautifully said.
Mm.
Okay, so I don't know if there are any other um, barriers that come to the top of our mind for individuals who are entrepreneurs or business owners, women who are in that space. What are some of the other challenges that are?
I think she pretty much covered it. Burnout, and that's because you're trying to do it all by
Every
yourself. What else? What else? What else? Yeah, I mean, she went. I was listening to all the points. I was like, oh, that's almost everything I want to say. But above all, I think fear
hmm,
is huge. A lot of people are scared to even, do the things that they need to do in order to get their goals. So eliminating fear, procrastination, all those, those things that hold you back from, you know, reaching your fullest potential.
mm-hmm,
First first strike them out because once you go past your fear, you know, you already have set a good what they call a stride. So yeah, eliminating fear. If that's a barrier. So,
right.
I was gonna mention one more thing. I'm glad you said the fear things. I was thinking that too, but the last thing that I could think of was don't be afraid to fail. Uh,
mm,
I remember the first time that I had a speaking engagement. Uh, y'all, it was bad. I crashed and burned so bad. I knocked my water over my notes. It was bananas. But you know, I was speaking to a friend of mine, and he's a white male. And he said, "Okay." He was like, "So you just fell up, just fell up. Like you know what you don't need to do the next." And I was like, "Yeah, I've done that. Well, yeah." Like I was like, "Why?" But when you're in that moment, it's scary, right? Because
mm,
when you're in a 9 to 5, if you mess up, you can be like, "Oh, such and such didn't give me the tools that I needed," or they were supposed to be there to back me up. You are by yourself. You are the team
Yeah.
until you hire on other people. And so, if you fail on your own, but when you succeed, you succeed on your own, but you have other people that pushed you up there. If you're willing to make up that network and willing to learn from those areas that you failed.
Yeah, no, I love it.
Absolutely.
So I added it there as another point. Eliminate fear and don't be afraid to fail. And the popular phrase, do it afraid, right?
Yes.
So no matter how fearful it is, just do it, right? What's the worst that could happen? You dust up and you keep on going. Okay, that's great. All right, so I know that we're heading towards the end of time, and I want to be respectful of each of you's time. But again, I also don't want to leave our mothers or stay at home
Mm,
out of this conversation, right? Um, there are women who are eager to either start a business or go into paid employment. But again, fear is holding them back. Their spouses, which again, I always say the person you get married to is one of the most important decisions you make in your life.
absolutely.
Their spouses could potentially also be holding them back.
Hmm.
Um, their children, not necessarily holding them back. I think moms use children as an excuse because the truth is those children are going to grow up and leave you anyway, and then yeah, because they have their lives ahead of them, so they're going to go to college, they're going to get married, they're going to go do their thing, right? So for the stay-at-home moms or for just women who have not been able to get to their full potential or do the things that they really want to do, we get that progression because of being being a mom or being a wife. Do you have
Mm.
any advice, suggestions for them?
Um, I would say figure out what it is that you want to do. Do your research on it, whether that is, you want to do it 2 years from now or you wanted to do it 3 months from now. And figure out, is there schooling involved, like what are all of the things, right? And while the kids are at school or at childcare or getting somebody to watch them, start having informational interviews with folks. Reach out to, I don't care if it's a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, you'd be surprised who picks up the phone and is willing to talk about their experience, and take them out, ask if you can go to coffee or go up to, where they're at and ask them questions like, what did you do to get there? And this is where I'm at. What do all of those things. And then also volunteer in those places that you aspire to be. I don't care if you're like, I want to go into international affairs and like, where can you can volunteer with the UN, United Nations volunteers. It's free. You don't have to have a lot of experience. You just sign up and put in your information, and you can pick what kind of volunteer opportunity you want to have. And how powerful is that for you to say, I'm a UN volunteer
Mm.
over, a year, 2 years, or, whatever it is that you want to do. But yeah, that's what I do. Volunteer, do informational interviews, build up your resume that way as well, and making sure that on your resume you put on there that you are a stay-at-home mom. If you don't know how to look, Chat GPT is a beautiful thing. AI is a beautiful thing. As a mom, you are a manager. You do inventory, you do finance. Um, you're a coordinator. It's all of those titles. That's what you do.
Yep.
You're a principal, educator, a recreational specialist, all of those things, and put it in there. That's your job.
Yeah.
And don't feel like that is not something of substance, and it's
Mm.
not something of worth, because it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, I will first start with like we're talking about most likely like somebody like a single mother, right? Or
It doesn't have to be
just
single.
okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Even
just
for
women
women,
just getting back to work. Is that
not even work,
mm,
earning an income,
any
right?
income?
Having your
Okay.
own money.
Okay, okay. So for one, and I think why I kind of picked on me either like somebody that's either just maybe the main caregiver of the kids. I just feel that sometimes you just have to be ready to, because a lot of times I mean, and what I mean by ready, you definitely need an income, but if you've not sorted out how you would either take care of your kids, or maybe the number of hours you are able to work, you have to do some like realistic check, because some women will go out to work and they're not ready, in the sense that they're not prepared for the things that need to be in place for them to go to work first. So first, make sure that you are ready, be it finding care for the kids, or finding support for the whole process. So that was the first thing, that I don't know why I thought of that. But other than that, yeah, getting into the workforce, just especially if maybe you don't have a background, involves you finding, what is it you're passionate about, what is it you can do to make income. Because as an entrepreneur, passion is key. Like that would be the first thing that I would tap into, and then kind of piggyback off that. So getting back to work would involve you just being real. Are you ready? And then if you are, what are the things, the key skills that you can apply? As Jasmine rightly says, you can even use words that already you are functionally doing and extend it into a job. So let me just really add into that.
No, I think that's great. And you said something, passion.
Yeah.
Passion, I want to really hit on that, right? Because as you were talking about that, right, the individuals who they might be the primary caregiver, maybe
Yeah.
single moms. There are also some women who have children with special needs. So their hands are tied where they can't
Yeah.
necessarily get them off to childcare. They have to be with them 24/7. But they have a passion for something. Maybe it's baking, or maybe it's reviewing something, right? I'm just an advocate of, as a woman, I want you to have your own money, because anything can happen, right?
Absolutely.
You could have um, income coming from your spouse, but God forbid, anything can
You
happen to
don't.
that.
Yeah.
If we don't pray for that, but that's the reality. We've seen this happen multiple times. If something happens to that individual, are you secured? Like, are you financially?
Mm-mm.
Are your children financially are going to be financially stable, right? So my thing is, you know, women have to think about, especially the ones who are stay-at-home moms, think about how they can make their own money. And right now, the world is changing, where we have people who are influencers who, from the comfort of their homes, we have brands sending them stuff. They get on YouTube, they provide reviews, you know,
Mm.
and they are making money from that, right? So, or even just again, like thinking of passion, maybe you're knitting, crocheting something, you're selling on Amazon, like without even having to step out of your house, right? So, again, it's passion and
Be
um,
ready. Be
yes,
ready.
exactly, exactly, and just start something. Is definitely what I want to add as a form of encouragement, because again, it's fear, because you haven't done something for so long. You're
Mm.
going into new territory. You don't know what to expect, things like that. So, but you guys have definitely mentioned very valid, very good points, and I know people are going to benefit from this conversation. Women
Absolutely.
are going to benefit. So I want to say thank you so much to you guys. Again, I'm trying to be respectful of time.
Thank
Um,
you.
so, but again, before we end, the signature outro for resilient immigrants is, as an immigrant, I know Dr. Florence, you're an immigrant, so
Mhm.
you say your name, your title, and then you will state that you are a proud resilient immigrant. And
Okay.
then Jasmine, you're not an immigrant, but you just say your name, what you do, and then you say that you stand with or you support resilient immigrants, just again for the work that we do in providing information, workshops, things like that. And then after that, we definitely want people to connect with you, because that's what we're here for. So you guys are providing expert advice. So how can people find you? How can people connect with you? So let us know your social media handles, if it's LinkedIn, Instagram, all of that stuff. Okay. All right. So Dr. Flo, you start first.
Okay. So my name is Dr. Florence Fasson. I am a serial entrepreneur. I am a resilient immigrant. I can be reached on my Instagram page. I am Florence Fasson. My website is www.florencefasson.com. Yeah, and all my other pages are right under that.
I love it. Thank you, Dr.
Thank
Flo.
you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Jazz, over to you.
I am Jasmine Lewis, and I stand with resilient immigrants and want everyone to embrace this year and have faith over fear moments. You can reach me at Jasmine Lewis at Facebook, at LinkedIn. It's Jazz Resolutions on Facebook and LinkedIn. And then email is jazzed, JAZZED, dot resolutions at gmail.com.
Awesome. All
Nice.
right. So, again, I want to say a big thank you to the both of you. It's
Thank
been
you.
a very insightful session. And for those who are watching or who are going to catch up, I hope this was helpful. I hope this was impactful. Definitely send in questions for our
Hmm.
speakers or suggestions for future topics that you want to see. And with that being said, we'll definitely end. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you, Vivian. Thanks, Jasmine.
All right.
Bye. Thank
Thanks.
Bye.
you.
Bye.